Top of the morning to you. Why? I don't know why it always goes very fast. Welcome everyone to the El Toro La Liga show. Sorry for like almost a 10-minute delay. Obviously this is the La Liga show that I do every just before every game week. Yeah, hopefully I'll get back to schedule. I woke up a bit late because I was doing karaoke last night. Very good night. Breaking Free by High School Musical. But yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Please do hit the like button and subscribe. I don't know why the bomb site has Charlie's thing. It should just be mine because it's only my show. But big up to everyone. Obviously, let me know you guys' thoughts in the chat, and we might as well get started with the first game of this upcoming game week. And now there's no international break. Woo! I know people enjoy the international break. For me, I'm happy club football's back. I'll be honest. Oh my god! And it still shows Charlie's name. I'm sorry, Charlie, but I need my name. You know. But yeah, first game we have here is Valencia against Levante, and this is the derby, the Comunidad de Valencia, the biggest derby in Valencia, I would say. I know people would say Villarreal is a bigger team than either Levante and Valencia, but I'll be honest, like Valencia, one of the biggest clubs in Spain, Levante, literally in the same city. So it's a big derby. Look, both teams not doing well in La Liga, but in terms of win probability, 47% Valencia win, 27% for a draw, and 26% Levante win. It does favor the home side usually in the derby. But as I said, both teams in the bottom four, or one of them is in the bottom three in the relegation zone, only separated by 1 point. Look, it's going to be tough. Valencia have not won; they lost their last derby against Villarreal a couple of weeks ago, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. So it's not been good. Not in a good run of form, Valencia, and is Carlos Corberan in danger of the sack. Who knows? Only 2 wins in 12, and I predicted Valencia to do well. Maybe second half of the season, maybe. As for Levante, look, newly promoted side back in La Liga after about 2-3 years. Not been the greatest of starts as compared to the other teams, but Levante do have a chance in this derby. But I will say, as a prediction, I will actually look. I'm excited. I'll probably, if I possibly can, I'll try to watch this game on the side. As for predictions, I am going for a victory in this game. I'm going for a 2-0 win for Valencia. I will go with the home side to pick up the first win since what, all of October, I believe it was. So I'm going 2-0 Valencia. Next up, we have here is Alavés against Celta Vigo. Obviously, as a Deportivo fan, I want Alavés to win this. I kind of hope they do. But yeah, the win probability shows it's somewhat slightly in favor of Alavés, but it's pretty even. 37% Alavés win, 31% draw, 32% for the other team. As you can see, Alavés and Celta are in and around the same spot, like mid-table. Celta Vigo have won like 4 or 5 games recently, in a row, but they did lose the previous game to Barcelona. Thank you, Barcelona. I love Barcelona. As for Alavés, they've been inconsistent, but they are picking up some very difficult wins. I mean, the most obvious one you can think of is beating Athletic Club away. So they do have a lot of experience of trying to get big results. Um, but in terms of this game, this prediction I have between the two sides, I will go with. I'll probably go with the away side. Unfortunately for me, I'll go 1-0 to Celta Vigo. Unfortunately, yeah, not great. Up next is probably the talk of the town, you could say, because it's Barcelona taking on Athletic. Obviously, this is the other classic, the other classical, the other classical, I would say. However, not only is this played in Barcelona, no shit, Sherlock, but you kind of have to scroll down because the game is played, if you see down here, I don't know if you guys can see it. Yeah, Camp Nou. The Camp. Sorry. The Camp Nou is finally, for the first time in 2.5 years, is going to host Barcelona in a La Liga game. The last time they played, Barcelona played at the Camp Nou was in the end of the 22-23 season when they won the title under Xavi. But yeah, this is the first game back at the Camp Nou. You have 69%, brilliant percentage for Barcelona to win, 18% for a draw, and 13% for Athletic Club win. Now, can Athletic Club spoil the party, spoil the return of Barcelona at the Camp Nou? There's a possibility, but I think it will be very difficult for Athletic. I do see. Look, there's a lot of pressure on Barcelona to win this game. They've now cut Real Madrid's 5 point advantage to now just 3. So they're definitely within the shout of pushing towards um, maybe drawing a level with Real Madrid by the end of this game week if possible. Um, but I will say Barcelona. Look, I do think they're going to have a big win. I will say that. And I'm going for a big 3-0 win. I just think Athletic Club not in the great spot at the moment. Really inconsistent. So I'm going 3-0 Barcelona to win their first game back at the Camp Nou. Maybe it gives a little bit of confidence boost to them. 3-0 Barcelona. Up next, we do have, I wouldn't really call this a derby, I'll be honest. But it is Osasuna against Real Sociedad. Both these sides competing in and around the same area. Look, 35% win for both teams, actually, and 30% for a draw, so it's very even. And if you look, both teams 14th, 16th, not in a great spot. Both teams only won 3 games all season, so they've only won like 33% of the games this season. But Sociedad are unbeaten in the last 4 games. Meanwhile, Osasuna are winless in the last 4 games. So will that continue for the team from Pamplona? I'm not. I think actually yeah. Sociedad great run of form. I can see them picking up a win. Look, I know I said Osasuna to get top 4 by the end of the season. Doesn't seem like that will be the case, but if they get Europe, I'll be content with that. Look, I just think that Osasuna, good bit of run of form. Obviously, the international break doesn't help. It's been 2 weeks since they last played, but I do think they can pick up a win here. I'm going for a 2-1 win, 2-1 for Real Sociedad, so an away victory this time. Next up at night, tomorrow night, we have Villarreal hosting Mallorca. I do believe last season this game ended like 4-0 to Villarreal, I believe. I'm not sure if that's true. it was probably 4-0. Um, but yeah, win probability 67% Villarreal win, 19% draw, 14% Mallorca win. Villarreal in a good spot at the moment. They're in third place at the moment. They're 2 points behind Barcelona, though I don't really think they're not really going to catch up. But they are in a good spot at the moment. They picked up a huge win the last game week. And look, them and Atletico Madrid are kind of pulling away from the chasing pack of like Betis, Espanyol, Athletic, Getafe, Sevilla, Alavés, and also Villarreal on a good spot. And look, they have a pretty good record against Mallorca, who are, they kind of picked up form just a little bit. Since the last international break, they picked up 2 wins in the space of 4 games. So they've definitely gotten themselves back into at least safety. At the moment, 12 games in, still pretty early. But Mallorca are doing okay. But I just think that this game is going to be a huge one. I'll go for a little bit of an exciting game. Villarreal 4-2. I'll go exciting. Villarreal to win 4-2 in that one against Mallorca. Next up, you could say it's a big game, this one, for one team. And that is Real Oviedo hosting Rayo Vallecano. Both these sides not really fantastic. I'm not sure how would you say Oviedo 28% to win, 29% draw, 43% Vallecano win. Rayo, look, they were on a good run of form. It's just that huge loss away at Villarreal didn't help, but they did get a draw against Real Madrid, so they're like a topsy turvy team at the moment. Meanwhile, Real Oviedo, despite they sacked Paunovic, and they still haven't picked up really any form. They haven't won. The last win was away at Valencia, which was like end of September or something like that. So Oviedo has a lot to do if they want to survive in La Liga. They've only scored 7 goals, which is the lowest of any team so far this season. Second lowest is like Osasuna, I believe. So look, with Rayo, I think they're just gonna have a little bit too much quality. They're going into the Conference League game this coming Thursday, I believe. So they want to have a bit of confidence. So I'll give Oviedo a go, but I'm going 3-1 Rayo Vallecano. That'll be my prediction. 3-1 Rayo. Sorry. I'm a bit sick these days, guys. And I did karaoke as well. But next up we have here is Real Betis against Girona. Obviously, Betis doing quite decently well with 62% win ratio, 21% draw, and only 17 for Girona win. Obviously, Betis are the team currently in 5th and chasing the Champions League spot, but obviously the draw a couple weeks ago didn't help them. But they are the team in with the only shout, I would say now, realistically, of getting into the top 4. It's still pretty early days, but it will take some catching up from Betis. But look, they have a favorable fixture against Girona, who did win a couple weeks ago, but still haven't really been the best team, I would say. As for a prediction between the two sides, I just think that Betis will just have too much quality for Girona, and I'll probably go with a Betis win. I'll go 2-0 for Real Betis. 2-0 Betis. Next up we have it's technically a Madrid derby. We do have here is Getafe against Atletico Madrid. Both these sides trying to secure any form of Europe. Obviously, Atletico in the Champions League spot, but 18% Getafe win for the home side, 27% draw, and 55% for Atletico Madrid win. Now, Atletico, as I said, on 25 points. They've won every single game. They are actually they. I think I'm not wrong in saying this. Atletico Madrid are on an 11-game unbeaten streak in La Liga. Their only loss was the opening game of the season, away at Espanyol. That was the opening game of the season, and they lost. But since then, they've been unbeaten. Yeah, they kind of started off slow, picking up more draws than wins, but they picked up 4 wins in a row, and they could go 5 in a row, away at Getafe. Whereas Getafe, look, they've been pretty decent, in the games that they should be, maybe picking up points in. But I just think that the quality of Atletico Madrid so far this season has been pretty good. Probably not in the Champions League, I would say, but they are, definitely delivering in La Liga, and I do think Atletico by the end of the season will be in the Champions League again. Um, but as a prediction, I am going for I'll go I'll go 2-1 Atletico. I'll go for another narrow win here. Atletico to win this one 2-1. That would be my prediction. A couple more games to go. Here we have is Elche against Real Madrid. This one is going to be pretty huge, I would say, in terms of where both these teams are going to compete. Obviously, Real Madrid big advantage, 70% for the away side, but 30% for the home side, Elche to win, and 17% for a draw. Obviously, Real Madrid top of the table, but they drew their last game against Rayo Vallecano 0-0. Usually a team that, they struggle against nowadays. Elche at the moment, look, Elche had an unbeaten, run of like 7, 8 games, and then they haven't won. So it's kind of brought back down to reality, I would say. And I just think that overall at this moment, Elche not looking at the best at the moment, but I just think that overall it's not been that great, from Elche, and I think it will continue. Look, I'll be honest. I'm going for a Real Madrid win. I'll go 2-0 for Real Madrid to beat Elche. 2-0 is my prediction. And the final game on Monday night, we do have is, Espanyol against Sevilla. Both these sides in and around the same spot in La Liga at the moment. And win probability 46% Espanyol win, 29% for a draw, 25% Sevilla win. If you look, Espanyol in 6, but they've lost back-to-back games. Sevilla, look, before winning a couple of weeks ago, they were 3 losses in a row. But a very, I would say, volatile team, you know. Since beating Barcelona 4-1, haven't really, shown much quality, I would say. A bit of my coffee, mate. Um, but yeah, look, I think both teams are in a similar trajectory. And actually, if my predictions come true, the team will stay in 6 or go up to 6. I don't know. Something tells me maybe we're in for a shock for this one. I'm actually going for a fun game. Why not? I'm going 3-2 Sevilla. I think Sevilla will turn up in this game. So I'm going 3-2 Sevilla. That'll be my prediction there. All right. And now it is time for the El Toro de la Semana, the Ball of the Week, the best player of the last game week. Look, I'll be honest, there's not many to choose from. I will be honest. Um, Look, it is, I would say, a bit difficult to call who could it be, for the best player of the week. Look, it's been a while. I haven't really checked too much. But if I had to pick someone, um, I just realized Barcelona did beat Celta Vigo. So the El Toro de la Semana, the ball of the week, the best player of the week, none other than Robert Lewandowski with a hat trick away at Celta Vigo. And look, pretty good, pretty decent for him. I would say congratulations, Robert Lewandowski, for the El Toro de la Semana, the best player of the game week. And looking forward to more of that. But now it is time for the Segunda. Very quick recap of that. All right, so game week 13 and 14, and then a little preview of 15. Oh god, we had Eibar beating Albacete. This is what 3 weeks ago. Eibar beating 2 weeks ago. Eibar beating Albacete and Huesca drawing 2-2 against Andorra. Deportivo, obviously, I did a video on it on my channel. We beat Leonesa 3-0. Pretty good result for us. Malaga 2, Cordoba 2. A big one here. Las Palmas beating Racing Santander 3-1. Ceuta against Almeria. Unfortunately, a fan of Ceuta unfortunately passed away during the game, which is I think you don't really see that so much often in any sporting event. So condolences and descansa en paz, rest in peace to the Ceuta fan that sadly passed away a couple weeks ago on the 9th of November. Hopefully, the family and friends and everyone at Ceuta are doing well to recover from a tragic loss. I know I'm a bit sick, but it's really upsetting. What happened? Like, it's and the funny thing is we're playing Ceuta in a couple of days from now, Deportivo, which I'll talk about, which I did a show with Charlie with as well. But yeah, descanso en paz para el aficionado de Ceuta. Rest in peace for the fan of Ceuta. But yeah, the other games we had a couple weeks ago, Granada beating Zaragoza, and we had Cadiz drawing 0-0 against Valladolid, and then another 0-0, Burgos Castellon as well. As for the games this past weekend during the international break, we first had match game week 14, match day 14. Las Palmas beating Valladolid, a huge win. So Las Palmas picking up 2 huge wins for themselves. Albacete 1 and Andorra 0. This is probably the game of the season, you can say. Castellon 5, Real Sociedad B 4. A huge result. And a big shocking result as well, just in terms of the scoreline. Yeah, Racing Santander, as I always say to a lot of people, you guys know how my feelings on Santander. Look, I love Santander. I love, not as a fan, but I do like watching Santander games, unless it's against Depor, of course. But Racing Santander, 2-0 up against Granada at home, and they bottled it. They absolutely bottled it. 2-2. Not great from Racing Santander. They bottled it. And then Leganes having a huge away win at Ceuta. And then you have Sporting Gijon 1, Eibar 1, which I believe is the first draw Sporting Gijon got. Almeria 3-0 win against Cadiz in a Andalusian derby. Meanwhile, in the other side of Andalusia, in Cordoba, Deportivo La Coruña 3-1 winners. We back to back. Yeah, we've had now 3 wins in a row. Depor in La Liga. Segunda. 3-1 win, a huge win for us. Burgos 2-0 win away at Miranda's in a derby, you could say, because Miranda de Ebro and Burgos are pretty nearby in Castilla y León. And then you also had the Aragonese derby, the Derby de Aragonés, which is between Zaragoza and Huesca. And Zaragoza, for the first time in a long time, they pick up a win. They got a red card, but it doesn't matter. They beat their biggest rivals, Huesca. Huge win for Zaragoza. And then Leonesa pick up a win at home against Malaga, which is pretty good for them. Now, some of the games for this coming game week, Las Palmas against Albacete, I'll probably expect Las Palmas to win. Andorra, Castellón, who I would probably say Andorra, but you never know. Castellón scored 5 goals here just last week. Eibar hosting Zaragoza, so maybe that derby would help Zaragoza pick up some form. They haven't really won a game away from home as well. Leganes host Almeria, so that would be a big one. Granada against Cordoba. Deportivo La Coruña against Ceuta. This will be, I would say, a bit difficult for us, but I kind of expect us to win now, I'll be honest. I did say we'll beat Ceuta in the show I did with Charlie. La Piña Rosa, which you guys can check out. And obviously, I do that show every Monday at 9 p.m. So, obviously, talking about Deportivo La Coruña, my team, and Palermo, Charlie's team. You also have Cadiz taking on Leonesa. You have Huesca taking on Gijón. Burgos taking on Santander. This is a huge game, this one. This is probably the game I'm looking forward to the most, apart from Deportivo. You have Malaga hosting Mirandes, and then on Monday night, you have the B team of Real Sociedad taking on Valladolid. Now, as you can check the tail of the tape at the moment, looks for good reading for Depor. Fantastic. We're first place, mate. Look, I'm really happy with now the recent performances. We've picked up 3 wins in the Segunda. I think now we've picked up a good amount of form, which it's been lacking from this Depor team. We haven't won 4 Segunda games in a row so far this season. Can we actually do it? Can we do it? That's going to be the big question when we play Ceuta on Sunday afternoon. So hopefully we get a win there. Racing Santander in second, but they've bottled their first place position. Now we're above them. Las Palmas also on 26 points. Look, the top 5 is only separated by 1 point. 1 point. So look, for all we know, I hope not. We could be down in 5th, by the end of this game week. Who knows? Most very unlikely because Santander and Burgos play each other. But still, I do think the top 5 at the moment, Depor, Santander, Las Palmas, Burgos, Almeria, I think these teams right now are the best 5 in the Segunda. I will actually say that. I think they've been the best 5 teams so far this season. And it's going to be really difficult. And Cadiz is the team completing the final spot in the at minimum playoff. But you have Valladolid, you have Cordoba, you have Sporting Gijón, Castellón, Albacete have kind of picked up a bit of them, at least winning games now. You have Leganes now also picking up a win the last game week. Ceuta, look, they were up there, but obviously don't want to talk about what happened the other couple of weeks ago. But they're still in a good spot. Ceuta, Eibar with 17 points in 14th. Leonesa, they've now become. I think Leonesa. I'll be honest. I do think Leonesa by the end of the season do get relegated, but win loss. So at least they're picking up wins. Andorra, who started the season very well, have now not looked good. Not looked good at all. They're down in 16th. Sociedad B in 17th. Malaga in 18th, just above the relegation zone. And then the bottom 4. You have Granada in 19th with 15. You also have Huesca on 15th. Mirandes on 12. And then Zaragoza, despite the win, are still bottom. But they have at least clawed themselves back into something, you can say. They're only 6 points away from safety, somewhat, but technically 7. But they dragged the big rivals Wesker in that relegation dogfight. You know, so it's going to be really tough to see. I do look. I'll say this. I do think Zaragoza and I also do think Menendez are the two teams that will be getting relegated. The other two, I'm saying Alianza and Sociedad B. I think those will be the four that eventually do go down. But I think it is going to be a close call for most of these teams at the bottom. Maybe it's not so much so for Andorra, I'll say, because I think they can pick up form. But yeah, that's basically it for the show, people. Um, Look, it's been a really good show. Unfortunately, no comments, but obviously, I will be back with Charlie on La Piña Rosa, talking about Deportivo and Palermo. Um, so obviously, stay tuned for that. Um, and look, obviously, I'm also going to be doing a live watch long for the Marseille Newcastle United game in the Champions League. But yeah, until next time for the next show of this, obviously every Friday at 3 p.m. Spain time. So yeah, until then,